Welcome to the Visionary Summit 2025 in Fort Lauderdale. On March 3rd, 4th, and 5th, we invite you to unattach, unlearn, and unleash your fullest potential. Join our inspiring speakers, Elayna Snyder, Steve Heroux, and Jenna Dillon, as they guide you through transformative sessions filled with insights and innovation. Now, let's hear from our host, Bob Shenefelt, as he connects with our wonderful speakers.
Hey there, Coach Bob, founder of the Visionary Forum. Very excited to have a great conversation with Jenna Dillon, Elayna Snyder, and Steve Heroux, three amazing teachers, students of life, and also visionaries and business in different aspects. And I'm so fortunate and grateful that the three of them will be presenting at the Visionary Summit, our 7th one in Fort Lauderdale, March 3rd through 5th. And our theme for this one is to unlearn, unattach, and unleash. And it's around, celebrating and elevating the visionary journey and not only letting go of the vine, but living life beyond the vine. And so I want each of our amazing presenters just to quickly talk about what they're going to talk about, and then have a dialogue about how amazing we visionaries are and things that we're learning to step into that. So Jenna, good morning. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Good morning.
Good. So what's your take on the summit and your talk, and what are you going to be sharing with us at the summit and with all of us? But
yeah, absolutely. So at the summit, this is really a opportunity for visionaries to come together and not just learn from each other, but learn collectively more about who we are as visionaries and what that really means. In my talk, what is the archetype of a high-performing visionary that actually gets in our way? Like, how do we unintentionally, because we like being high-performing, right? How do we unintentionally create these tendencies and habits, and what's our profile, and where's the loop here? Like, where are we missing a mark to figure out why aren't we getting to the next level, or what could help us get to the next level in a more effective, efficient, freeing way? And it's not just saying that in the fields, like it's looking at actually the intellect, the strategy, the business acumen, and the psyche acumen behind it. And so this opportunity at the summit is really about not just identifying who we are as visionaries, but dare I say, reinventing what it means to be a visionary.
I love it. Can't wait. Awesome. All right, Elayna. So what is your angle and wisdom you're bringing to the group?
Well, I'm really excited because Jenna and I have already been talking, and my workshop leads directly out from hers. And we're going to dive into the unknown. It's all going to be about unveiling the unknown, because we already have enough knowing, we already have enough information. And with AI being able to synthesize all of our insights, it frees us up to not know. And when we think about what it means to be a visionary, let's actually look at the word vision. Visions don't fully exist yet. And so we need that not knowing, we need that unknown, and the practice to be in that, and how we can harness that for our own creativity so that we can actually chart the future. So that's what we're going to be doing in a bunch of kind of weird, zany ways. And in terms of like what you'll be able to take home, it's interesting. There's a lot of stuff for us visionaries that we don't actually want to be dealing with and doing. So my goal for us is really to put us in our bodies and our not knowing in a way that we get to access daily. That's really my hope for what we're going to do.
I love it. And I'm learning that. So one of the things that we're good at as visionaries is stepping into the unknown. And still, obviously it's sometimes new and unknown, but I think that for us to learn to embrace the unknown is huge. I love it. Can't wait. All right, Steve, what wisdom are you going to be sharing, and what are we going to be going through?
So I have to go off here, because you just said just before we started, right? My desired outcome, right, for the event, this and this. My desired outcome is to get you to never start a sentence with my desired outcome. That's my goal here.
All right, I'm client number one. I'm looking forward
Yeah,
to it.
we can't control outcomes. So your desire to have them happen will
Love
disappoint
it.
most likely. But that's part of, this whole change and shift and unlearning and unthinking. And we've been taught so many things in business, just like in life. But just because you've heard them for 100 years doesn't make them true. And the whole bats are blind, yet they're not blind. Napoleon was short, yeah, wrong. Columbus discovered America, yeah, no, sorry, he didn't discover Jack, you know what, it was already here. So many things in business we've been taught about cracking the whip and motivating salespeople with money, all this stuff. It's just so backwards, and so much of the sales tactics and these magic methodologies that predate the moon landing, right, are what's being taught. And if you keep teaching that, then sales are going to struggle, and you will not be able to let go of the vine. And so building this field of dreams, in essence, right, my talk title is inspired by that, right? If you build it, they will come. You have to be able to build something that people line up to come and join. And nobody's going to line up and come to a place where you are in control of everything. The goal is to not have you end up like the Dallas Cowboys. Some of you guys will get that. Talk about an example of somebody not letting go of a vine. Hello, Jerry.
Right.
Jones.
Right.
So that's the gist. And people coming out of this session, and these two amazing folks that I get to participate with, just think differently. Like, as we finish, you and I, three of us shared, right? Like, yeah, maybe we're not exactly where we want to be, like, or maybe we are, maybe we built this amazing business, but who cares? You can still do it different. Like, it doesn't matter if you run $1 million business or $1 billion business, you can choose to do it differently. It's whether or not people want to take that risk to be able, right, to change and transform, right, their business or life. And that's where all the growth and value is stepping outside, of what the norm is and realizing there's a different way.
Love it. And one of the things that attracted all three of you to me and together, because literally the three of you came together in like 2 days as I was putting it out to the universe, who are going to be our speakers for the next one. And the common thread for me is I got impact from all three of you in minutes for my life. And I love that. And all three of you are open to learning. And to me, there is a deeper spiritual component to all three of you. And so to me, what I'm learning and what a lot of visionaries are stepping into is, again, it's not doing it the way our dads did it or the way we were taught to do it. It's to be ourselves and be different. And many of us are forward thinkers. So we're living in the present and maybe even worried about it and or regretting the past. And it's about being present and impacting this moment. So all three of you pulled at that heartstring, which I loved. So thank you for that. Just a couple other quick questions. The visionary ecosphere, I think, has been, somewhat, misunderstood and not addressed. And that's why I'm excited about the forum and the summit and people like you coming in to not only teach, but to learn and be a part of it and to be a part of community of healing and growth and camaraderie and really stepping into this new age. I call it the wisdom age. And I was speaking with one of my clients I've been coaching for 7 years, and her team has really come together and she's stepping, starting to live life beyond the vine. And so the team went out to dinner in between our 2 days, and they came back and they said, wow, the visionary is so effing funny. And then someone who's been working with her for a long time and said, we got her back. And they were like, for 2 or 3 years, she hasn't been fun or as inspiring because she's been in the business and in the weeds. And so as she got the people and the processes, and now she's stepping into the visionary, I know when I'm in the business, I can't stand it. And when my consciousness level is raised, it's amazing. So a couple questions for the group. What are a couple of the biggest issues that visionaries are struggling with, and a couple potential solutions? I think we're already talking about some of those, but what are some of the biggest issues that visionaries struggle with or that we're hitting the ceiling around? Just raise your hand and we'll go from there.
Oh,
Yep,
Bob,
Steve?
do you remember? Oh, go ahead, Jenna.
I'll just go start with a simple one.
Thank you.
And I think we all can answer this question. What pace do visionaries like to go at?
So is it what do we like to, or what do we think we're built for, or what have we been doing?
Well, and so the pace, no matter, even when we're trying to figure that out,
Right.
what that pace that visionaries tend to go at is what?
Lightning speed.
Yes. And what do they think if they were to slow down, what they make that mean?
It's I'm not doing enough. Oh no, totally.
Or it's
Yeah,
not comfortable. And so there's
Right.
almost this like tick or itch that they're scratching because we have to go fast. We have to do fast because that means successful. That means if we think fast, if we process fast, if we be fast,
Right.
then we're hitting our mark.
That's awesome. And Steve, I'll have you go next. But a couple of summits ago, Walt Brown, one of the original implementers who was a presenter, he was on our video, and he's like, we wear people out, including ourselves. And so I just thought, I loved how he said that. And I get frustrated when people don't keep up. And I say a half hour worth of things in one breath. And people, not only at work, but at home, are just like, dude, I can't even understand. And I think I don't even understand. So thank you for that, Jenna. So Steve, you're
As a side note to that, then I'll give my thought. I learned this from Simon, but Simon Sinek.
Yep.
You know, people aren't towels, right? That you just wring out for as much, moisture as you can. And if they feel like that, that's not good. It's not good. And that's unfortunately, right, how most salespeople feel. But what I was thinking, remember in the forum, there was somebody on the Zoom who the question was, how do I, like, I'm the salesperson, I'm the, founder-led sales. And it's funny because I've now switched my talk, and EOS is mad at me, just like everybody else is usually. So I switched the title of the talk to, basically visionaries, let go of the vine and let sales sell.
Love it.
These founder-led companies, like me included, we always think we're the best salesmen. No one's gonna do it like us, right? Yeah, no shit. No one is like you. So you have to come to the realization that people aren't going to be as good as you. And this is like all founders, not just that are selling, founders of software companies, like, yeah, no one's gonna code like you, right? So that's I don't know how we would craft a question around that, but what will it take for you to realize that nobody else is you? They're not gonna be as good as you. They're not gonna do it as good as you. And they're certainly not gonna have the passion you have. And that's the last point I'll make, is companies want, like, their salespeople and their employees to run through brick walls and stay past the bell and do all these things. They didn't start the company. They have no ownership of the company. It's not their idea. And when you don't give them, right, that ownership, even mentality, it doesn't have to be equity, but the sense of I am part of this company, of course they're not going to have the passion you have. So why is this, I think maybe Jenna wrote in there, but why is this so hard for you? I ask people this, they never have an answer.
I think for me, it's guilt, it's habits, it's the shoulds. And so in my first business, because I want to push back a little bit, because I think people are better at selling than I am. I don't think they have as much passion as I have. My first business, I hired a recruiter telemarketer, and she basically would set them up to basically be sold. And when I showed up as the visionary and owner of the company, they were like, wow, it's an honor to meet you. And I'm like, oh, wow. So she basically sold the business, the company and what we do at our processes, and sold me. And I came in just to inspire them. And even if they were like, all right, where do we sign? I'm like, that's not even my job. But then starting several new businesses, I put myself back in the sales seat, and I hate it. And so it's interesting. So yeah, what else makes it difficult? Go ahead, Jenna.
I think to what you both are saying though, where there's kind of, if I go more macro, what I see as being I'll just say a symptom, because we won't dig too much underneath it because we don't have time. But is, often, and this is at any stage of a business, I find it just looks a little different depending on how big and at what stage they're at, that visionaries can have the tendency of wearing more than one hat or many hats. And it's not about the amount of hats they're wearing, it's about them figuring out how to discern when to take a hat off. So whether they're doing the sales hat or they're not, there's at some point at any stage in a business, a hat that they have to be able to discern it's important for them to keep it or it's important for them to pass it on.
Because that's the bottleneck. The gals and guys need to do X, right? But because of that, Y doesn't get done, Z doesn't get done, but they need to do X. Like, no, you don't.
Right. I appreciate that. Elayna, any thoughts on that or other issues that visionaries are struggling with?
Yeah, well, it's interesting to think about the hats and the speed too, right? Like, I think that part of the reason that those hats stay on is that the speed can continue. I'm always fascinated by how we can look at our businesses and feel uncomfortable, but understand that profits have, they don't always just go up, that there's some back and forward. But when we think about our ideas, we expect our ideas and the way that we build and our creativity to just keep evolving. That's typically how we think about evolution as a current, or just going straight up. But anytime we're truly evolving something, it doesn't go straight up. It has to either stop, and really it needs to go back to a space of not knowing, because we're evolving, because we're creating something. And that can be a really hard thing to tag into, Jenna, your first point about how we just go and we go fast. And when we're in that space, it's really hard to understand what hat to take off, where we're actually at, who needs to be doing what. And then of course, when we're talking about evolving and creating, we need to look at where we're at.
One thing
I love that. Go ahead.
I just thought of, and you can use this or not, or maybe I'll put it in my talk.
We're recording. Woohoo!
I have to have life-saving heart surgery. I'm not going to the world's fastest heart surgery.
That's awesome.
I don't want speed. So this whole and this is all tied into what we do, right? Everyone wants speed. We got to onboard. These salespeople got to be ready in 90 days. Well, based on what? What the hell are you talking about?
Right.
Do you want it right or do you want it fast? It's your choice. But this is, again, it's the epidemic of what we talked about earlier about.
And the chatter coming in from the outside. I've got to get it done. It's all light speed. I'm sorry.
That's because of outcomes. This is coming from the top. We need more money faster, and then you throw in the private equity morons, right? Oh, it's the 60%.
And then we'll be happy, right?
Right, then we'll be happy. No, you won't, because you're outcome based, right? So it's like they all want fast, not right. They all want fast, not more, which they're directly contradicting what they actually want by doing this, right? It's insane. But that's what society has taught them. Remember the whole Columbus thing, right? Well, okay, gotta be done quick. No, it doesn't.
So a couple thoughts. Gino taught me years ago, and teaching is, as we grow, it's evolution, and then when we hit a bottleneck or a ceiling, it's what are you going to do with it? Are you going to stay stuck? Are you going to slide back down? Or are you going to have a revolution to go to the next level? And it's not just growth and revenue and profit. So Elayna, to what you're saying is just to sit with it, and the unknown, I think, is huge. And I see the visionary journey as I start a business. It's exciting. It's Joseph Campbell, the call to adventure, and we're out there and we're solving problems, and then we have to deliver. Ooh, okay, well then hopefully we build a team so we don't have to deliver. But then we hit the ceiling and then put in something like an EOS. and then we start to grow again. And someone commented the other day, it's kind of what we're evolving to as a group is Visionary 3.0. So I started a business, I broke through the ceiling, and now it is a business. And then what's my role now that the team is in place and we've structured and processed sometimes too much? And we talked about giving. I love the giving hat is something. I love that phrase someone gave to me recently. And when I'm in the moment and being present and truly serving, not selling, I get more business. I mean, it's counterintuitive, because I was taught, here's the pen, and get them to sign, and steak knives, it's and I love what you said, Steve. It's not the expectations or the outcome or the desires, it's the experience. And so if I'm going to speak to any one of you, it's not, hey, are you going to sign up? It's like, how are you? And to have people go, wow, I want more of that, or not, and that's okay. But very interesting. Other comments or thoughts around that, or other issues or opportunities that visionaries are struggling with? That's so good. Great stuff.
I'll end with a thought that I have around this is, I'm so excited to have all four of us lock arms and just crush it.
Yeah,
I can feel, I'm we're gonna crush it.
We already are, right? Exactly.
But that being said is, the more that I hear us discuss this topic on how we're so passionate about supporting visionaries and helping them figure out how to be successful and have the kind of success that could be making an impact for the better in more ways than what they're doing now, right? And I think to what you were saying, Steve, and I'm gonna paraphrase, but it's what if what we've been taught was just BS? What if, it's just to be theoretical for a minute, what if we can unlearn all the things so that then we can spark innovation? So it's not just about figuring out right and wrong, but it's about figuring out the truth and honesty of you, right? And what your organization's about, and how to actually be aligned and transparent and honest about it.
And it may not even be that it's wrong. It might be, but it might have been from the past. Maybe it did work in the past, but it's not, oh, my dad, when he worked overtime, he got paid double. That doesn't work anymore. All right. Any other comments on that topic, or in general on issues or opportunities for visionaries in this day and age? Because it's a different age.
Well, what I'm really excited about is that it seems like obviously each one of us have different perspectives, as will all the visionaries who are coming together. But Steve, I love all the different analogies that you're bringing in, because that gives us a very different perspective, something that is concrete and we can feel. Jenna, I know that you're also a dancer. So I'm thinking about that. Bob, you're out there just living the hell out of life. And I'm bringing an artist. Yeah. And I'm bringing an artist's perspective. And so the idea that we can drop business and look at what we're doing, who we are, how we're evolving, and how we want to bring our vision into the world, that's what I'm excited about, to just chill with you guys and be part of.
Love it. And instead of doing something to be successful, it's to be successful. And then, so it's the be, do, have, not have, do, be concept. I love that. And then another thing that comes up for me, I had the good fortune of studying with Dr. Bill Isaacs 25 years ago. He wrote a book around dialogue, and he taught at MIT and had a workshop. And it's the art of learning together. And how cool is that? So Jenna, I'm not going to convince you of something or whatever, or maybe, but if I have a safe space and I can hear you think and feel, it's wow, I never thought about that way. And then when I'm sharing, sometimes what I'm sharing of what's in my head, I'm that's actually not even real, or what I believe. So the art of learning together, again, for the four of us, and then for the 25 of us at Summit is awesome. And that's the whole thing about community. Steve, any other comments on that or anything else?
No, this is awesome. I can't wait. I just wrote down, it's Jenna, what she said is kind of the intro to every talk I give. What we've been taught, and what if what we've been taught, is wrong. But the whole, what's the feeling, you'll get, or you get when you let go, which will also be in my talk. But
Hmm.
And people always, freedom, joy,
Right.
lightness, relaxation, all these things, right? Peace. Like, what is that worth to you? And I ask leaders that all the time, and most of them don't even have an answer.
Yeah.
Which is pretty sad.
To me, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, they'd rather sacrifice that.
Right.
Because we need another $1 million and
Right. As soon as, right.
Right. No, it doesn't come like that. You got to be happy first. So it's just funny. So many things are intertwined.
Yeah. My last thought is, I've just, I've been asking, why am I so, it's funny, I used to make fun of Gino because he outwardly talks about when he created EOS, and I can attribute to this or agree to this, that he was obsessed with helping entrepreneurs to get everything they want out of their business. And I used to feel sorry for him, like, wow, obsessed. And he did give up a lot of things for a couple of years there to build this empire that he's built, and he's helped so many people. And I've realized, oh shit, I'm obsessed with helping visionaries get everything they want out of their lives. And so I've asked myself, what is that about? And my legacy is to help to create communities where people are creating their own communities. And that's by being ourselves. And so that's what this is for the four of us and for the visionaries. And it's I thought it was a tough thing to sell. I know I'm not supposed to be selling, and I'm learning that, but it's about, being open and honest and vulnerable. We had a forum the other day where someone came in and said, you know what, I almost didn't come to this meeting because I don't need to talk about, slowing down or living life beyond the vine. And then sure enough, in a breakout, they had a little breakdown of how they're struggling. And then they came back to the group and were like, I so needed this group because we're all going through the same stuff, and that we're okay. And it's not only okay to be a visionary, because a lot of us, even since we were a kid, it's been, oh, there goes Bob chasing squirrels again. And so part of that has been there, but that's also our brilliance of being a visionary, and not just being a visionary for our business, but being a visionary for our employees, for our kids, for our communities, and not just helping other visionaries to raise their consciousness level, but to teach others that it's okay to have vision. Maybe not everyone's a visionary, but our kids, it's like, imagine what the future could be. And it's okay to imagine it. It's okay to share it. It's okay. It may not turn out exactly how you thought, but it is a direction, and then keep coming up for air to say, this still makes sense. So it's teaching the world to have vision, but then also to have discernment and traction to actually achieve it, if that makes sense. So this has been awesome. Any other final comments? I mean, we could talk for 3 days, which we're going to in 3 weeks, but
two more quick, if y'all wouldn't mind, if you wouldn't mind sharing, I would love it. I've been I wish I could show you some of the messages I got from total strangers on LinkedIn from the book, total strangers. And if you wouldn't mind sharing it, I would love it. Just the more people I feel can hear my message, I think we'll be better off. The other thing, because of the book, it's still 2 days old, I just got a request for a big speaking gig, and I turned it down because that's my that's my week. Right. I'm not working.
You protected it. Yeah.
So I couldn't believe I did it, because I never turned down anything on the old days, and now I practice what I preach and do let go of thine and realize, right, I'm going to go see my friends. And so I said, hey, politely, I have to stick to this, and I would love to do it, but I can't. So it is a great feeling to be able to do that. The old days, I'm like, what did I just turn down? And right. Now it's like, yeah, my health and, mental health is 10 times more important.
And that's life beyond the vine. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, my last thing is that it is about community. It's learning together. It's being vulnerable, feeling safe, feeling the love and the connection, networking for each other, because we're all thought leaders. And again, even with the summit and with Forum, I want to bring in people who are also visionaries. We're bringing in people who are visionaries who are also learning. So again, the three of you who are amazing teachers, my first 2 summits, I had people they'd bomb in for a day and leave. And I'm like, no, that's not what it's about. I want people that want to be a part of that community. And the three of you have both given me so much and our forum so much. I'm so appreciative. So awesome. All right, Elayna or Jenna, any other final thoughts?
Viva la visionary.